diplomacy moving forward. The president has obviously been quite clear in his demands of the Iranian regime. Zero nuclear capability is something he's been very explicit about, and he wants to see if a deal can be struck.
Come to the table and talk about returning to the international order that it has so defied and defiled.
Should the supreme leader in Iran be worried right now?
I would say he should be very worried, yeah.
Well, the president, they're talking to NBC at the end. Meantime, the naval assets, U.S. military assets in the region have gotten to a place where they are in position as you look at all that is there, the firepower in the Middle East. This is the BBC talks about these talks, these negotiations. The talks had appeared to be in jeopardy with the two countries at odds over the location, the parameters. President Trump has built up U.S. forces in the region and threatened military action if Iran does not agree on a deal on its nuclear program and to stop killing protesters. With that, let's start there with our panel. Fox News contributor Hugh Hewitt, The Five co-host Jessica Tarloff, and Real Clear Politics White House correspondent Phil Wegman. Hugh, what's your take of these talks? We've had many talks with Iran that have not been fruitful. Now these talks set for tomorrow in Oman.
Good evening, Brett. I'm not an optimist about these talks. I think we're in a very perilous period. Our allies asked Special Envoy Witkoff and Jared Kushner to go. They begged the president yesterday. The president has surged so much force forward, and we only see what's above the surface. We don't see what's being hidden below with our Ohio-class submarines. So much force that I think he has to use it, or he'll suffer incredible harm to his deterrence that he rebuilt over Operation Midnight Hammer and the operation in Venezuela. So I think it's going to be a perilous few days, weeks, maybe even a month to get ready for the ability to deter any strike on our troops or our ships, which is impossible not to contemplate. There's a great deal of risk for them, but I still think these talks are not going to go anywhere. And indeed, if they did, I'd be very worried that President Trump was capitulating.
Yeah, Jessica, a lot of experts look at the situation right now with the military buildup, but also the weakness of the Iranian regime, among them our own General Jack Keane. Take a listen.
A negotiated settlement, even on terms favorable to us, would grant them sanction relief. And it does what? It recovers the regime. That means we're going to deal with these guys, what, another 10 years or so? And all the suffering that they've caused. We have an historic opportunity here, combined with Israel and the United States, to finish these guys once and for all.
Jessica?
There is certainly an opportunity for that, and I think a lot of people, when they heard President Trump say to the protesters, help is on the way, thought that that was going to be the outcome of this. I always think, though, that a chance at diplomacy, even though it has failed in the past, is worth the couple of days, and we'll see what comes out of it. But it does feel like we are starting at an impasse that you won't be able to negotiate through. The fact that Iran has no interest in discussing their missile program, their support for proxy groups across the region, and what's going on with the protesters is a no-go for Secretary Rubio, and something that I think all Americans really hope would be on the table. So I would agree with Hugh that I doubt that it is going to go anywhere, but we should show up, do our best, present our case, and then if you have to back it up by force, that's what you do.
Phil, there is still some pushback, even within the Republican Party, concern about if you break it, you own it, the old Colin Powell saying, and what comes next as far as Iran and the leadership, if you indeed decapitate the leadership that's there.
Very true. I think there's also concern about the value of deterrence here, because remember, President Trump previously warned the Iranians, don't you start shooting or we'll start shooting too. Well, the Iranians, they shot protesters, and now the United States is looking to negotiate. So the red line has already been crossed before anyone sat down to make a deal. I think that obviously the difference, as we've noted, is that in the interim now there's that carrier strike group. And to your question, Brett, I think that, while Donald Trump is loath to start new wars, this administration prefers, very distinct, precise, targeted strikes, like in Venezuela, like what we saw at Fordo. So I think that, going into these negotiations in the Iranian mind, they've got to be thinking, look, Nicolas Maduro got this guy wrong. He miscalculated. And look at how that turned out for him.
Yeah. and we're following what comes next in Venezuela. Hugh, meantime, the Treasury Secretary up on Capitol Hill, it's always interesting. He has proven to be one of the best back and forth cabinet secretaries with some tough questions. Here's some of them.
Do you know how many manufacturing jobs the United States has lost?
Yes, Senator, because you were out of the room, but it was already brought up.
We do many things, right? I don't need you to tell me where I was.
Is affordability a hoax, a scam, or a con job?
Senator, it may be a bit nuanced for you. There is an affordability crisis, and you were front and center in it.
You used to believe that tariffs would increase inflation and prices.
I also wrote that I thought Senator Warren would be the Democratic presidential nominee.
Okay. But,
so my
please.
predictions have been bad.
Hugh, your thoughts there?
I think that it's been a long time since we had a Secretary of the Treasury who has been formidable in that sort of exchange. But if it had been a fight, Brett, they would have stopped it, and Secretary Bessent would have been the winner. He got tomato cans up there. They're not very nimble. They weren't prepared for Secretary Bessent, who's proven himself, indeed, as you said, to be the pleasant surprise when it comes to video and audio for people like us who comment on it every night. He's pretty particularly good at this.
Yeah. Meantime, former Vice President Kamala Harris relaunching her social media. Jessica, take a listen.
Kamala HQ is turning into headquarters, and it's where you can go online to get basically the latest of what's going on, and also to meet and revisit with some of our great, courageous leaders. Stay engaged, and I'll see you out there.
Is there a lot of support in the Democratic Party, Jessica, for this relaunch and what looks like the beginning of a presidential campaign?
It certainly could be the beginnings of a presidential campaign. She's still, kicking the tires about it and basically wants to use this huge platform with millions of followers to help Democrats get elected and get our message out. But I was one of the Democrats who spent last night in abject terror as to what was going to be revealed in the morning when they went live. And the fact that the handle had 6'7" in it, which is this famous South Park Gen Z meme, or even Gen Alpha to Gen Z.
My kids say it's over, by the way, Jessica. They say it's done. I can't never say that, so it's over.
Oh, sorry, I forgot. I'm too old for that. As an elder millennial, I can't even follow the rules. Anyway, we will see where it goes. But there is a lot of infighting today, which does not help us. People from different political camps saying this is just about, owning the right versus it should be about persuasion. I don't think that's helpful. Let's see how the accounts get used, hopefully as a force for good.
Yeah, Republicans are cheering it. NRCC put out a pretty detailed post, Phil, saying Kamala caused the worst inflation in 40 years, masterminded the worst border crisis, dragged down Democrats in swing districts. Kamala's return is like Christmas came early.
It really is. Republicans are more than happy with this. I think that this is the beginning of our long brat winter of discontent. I mean, if Vice President Harris wants to win back Gen Z, she has her work cut out for her. Democrats lost ground with them. But the Democrats that I'm talking to, even members of the previous administration, they're not impressed. One told me that this is more of how Democrats are playing Go Fish when Trump is playing 4D chess. And another just said, Harris needs to go away.
Yeah, just quickly, if you look the voter analysis polls, to your point, President Trump increased his percentages with young voters 18 to 29, and Kamala Harris took down Joe Biden's percentages on those two elections. All right,
but
panel,
they're rebounding, so let's keep them.
Okay, all right, see you.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.